Hello, it's Andy from Keyword Insights, and I just want to speak about using Reddit for keyword research. Now, Reddit's a goldmine for keyword ideas because you got to think if people are going to Reddit to ask a question, it's normally because they haven't found the answer to that question elsewhere online, right? That's why they go to these forums, because the blogs or the guides they're reading just aren't satisfying their query. Or maybe their query is too niche, or maybe it's too new. Maybe some new development has come out on a specific subject and there isn't any guides yet. So going to Reddit to find these ideas can help you get like an edge over your competitors, especially if you're in a really competitive niche. Let's say something like skincare. If you are just starting out in the skincare niche and you've got a domain with very little authority, how do you start competing against some of these massive giants who already have all the content and authority that you could ever want? And the way that we would approach this is we turn to forums, specifically Reddit and Quora, to find what other questions that our users are searching for that I guess haven't been answered elsewhere online, or not satisfactorily, or otherwise they wouldn't be going to Reddit to ask the question in the first place. Another benefit of using Reddit to find keyword ideas is quite often, well, by their very nature, the reason that the content isn't there is because keyword tools don't have them yet. So your Ahrefs and your SEMrush don't have those keyword ideas yet. So your competitors aren't actually writing that content. There's a third part to, or a second part to why we go to Reddit for keyword research, and a big part of why we're talking about it. Obviously, we're a content marketing platform. We do keyword clustering is what we're famous for, and it's the fact that if you spend long enough looking at the questions on Reddit, you'll start to see, if you're going through the threads, the same question just gets asked time and time again, but in 1,000 different ways. So, my skin has blemishes, my skin has small red spots, there's blemishes on my skin, the blemishes on my skin are hurting me, what do I do? It's the same phrase being asked time and time again, but just because we're humans and we word things colloquially and differently, it just gets asked 1,000 different ways. Now, individually, if you were to go onto a Reddit forum and see, my skin has blemishes, and you plug that into a keyword research tool, it might say 0 volume, right? Because it's got, keyword tools don't have that. But if you start seeing that same question cropping up time and time and time again, or a similar question, or a question that has the same intent, and, well, if you see it come up time and time again, then it's not really got 0 volume, has it? It's got loads of volume. It's being asked time and time again. And so when you start pulling all the questions from Reddit and Quora and all these other sources and clustering them together, so keyword clustering is by grouping similar keywords together. When you cluster them together, you start to see that actually this keyword doesn't have 0 volume. It's the same question just being asked time and time again, 1,000 different ways. That's why it's not in keyword research tools. That's why it looks like there's no volume. But they are the questions that we can get and insert ourselves into a conversation in what would otherwise be a very competitive niche. In that skincare brand analogy I'm giving you, if I'm picking up that loads of people are worried about a specific skin condition, but they're all wording it in these weird and wonderful ways on forums, they're flying right under the radar of our competitors because they're just looking at them individually and going, it's got not enough volume, let's not write content about it. But when you scrape loads of them and group them together, now it's got some volume. So in this video, I'm going to show you 2 methods for basically coming up with those keyword ideas and pulling them from Reddit and then clustering them together to get those content ideas. So let's jump straight in. Now for method 1, it's really straightforward. Head to Reddit and find a subreddit that your audience or the type of content you're interested in is. So like if you're the skincare brand, just type in a keyword here and start to see all the subreddits. So you've got skin, skincare addiction, skincare addicts. There's probably more. Let's just use this one as an example. So first thing to do is just grab this domain and paste it into Ahrefs or SEMrush or whatever keyword tool you use. And what this is going to do is get all the keywords that subreddit ranks for. So there's 187 here. And we can just, export this. And because it's skin, I might actually do a few of these. I might actually go back and get the other skin ones as well and export all of them. So let's just try that as well. So skincare addiction, and let's get that subreddit and export that. One of the things I might do here is because we're especially interested in keywords that Reddit ranks really well for. The idea here being that, you know, if Reddit's ranking well for a keyword, it's probably because other articles aren't doing a good enough job at answering it. So in this example here, I've got 274,000 keywords. I might want to make this a little bit stricter and say, do you know what, show me only the positions where Reddit ranks in positions 1 to 100, and show me only the ones where, because some people literally just want to look at Reddit, and they will put Reddit in the keyword, like here. And so obviously we don't want to compete with those ones because that's a Reddit people want to see from Reddit. So I also want to exclude any keywords where Reddit is mentioned. And actually I don't want reviews, so I'm going to get rid of that as well. So also exclude where review is in the keyword. And if I show results there, I mean, there's still a lot of keywords here. So I might start to break this down further. Okay. Let's also do only where the keyword difficulty is up to 15. Still a lot. Okay, we can dial it back more. Let's go 10. And you get the picture. I can start adjusting the settings in a way where I'm really nailing down just the keyword list that I would potentially want to go for to start writing content, and I can export that as well. If you don't know what sort of keyword to plug into here, so let's say you're doing you are working for a business niche and you want to write content around business, you could just write business in here and see what comes up. There are some business forums, but maybe you don't know the keyword you want to type in. You're lacking inspiration. There is a URL here which I will share, and it has a list of all the subreddits you could possibly, well, all the subreddits available. So you could scour through here and look for inspiration that way. Once you've got your list from Ahrefs or SEMrush or whatever keyword tool you're using, obviously sign up to Keyword Insights, and we're going to cluster them together. So as I said in the introduction of this video, what clustering does is it groups loads of similar keywords together. And why that's really important is what we're seeing in here. You can't see it like this, but what you might be seeing is a keyword with, let's just show you. So keyword volume with, you know, up to 20. So loads of competitors probably aren't going to be talking, for some reason, it shouldn't have Reddit in. Keyword, does not contain. Does not contain. There we go. So these sort of queries here, you know, should we use this cream in the PM or AM? How long does this last? Competitors might not be going after them because they might think, you know, it's got a really low volume. But when I'm scanning down here, it's really hard for my brain to comprehend how many of these queries belong together. I mean, there's 24,000 of them. So I might just be looking at keywords individually. And so by grouping them together, we might start to see, oh, wow, this whole group actually has a combined volume of, you know, 1,000. And then it's all of a sudden very interesting. And your competitors aren't targeting it because they think it's not worth going after. So that's what we're going to achieve by clustering. And when you sign into Keyword Insights, we allow you to actually put a domain against the keywords that we check as well. So what that means is for every keyword you upload in a second, you know, the exports we've just done here, for every keyword we're going to upload, we're going to check against the domain to make sure, to see where you rank. So it'll allow you to really quickly find content opportunities. I'll show you what that looks like in a second, but very simply enter in your project details. I'll do that quickly now. And for the rankings, I'm going to put, you know, Nivea.com. What I'm going to say is show me all the rankings for everything I upload to Nivea. And then you can really easily upload multiple files. So in the example I did there, I downloaded 2 from Ahrefs, so you can upload both of them. And then we'll just ask you to map your keywords and your volume. So really easy to upload multiple files. And bear this in mind, because in the second method that we will go through to get keywords from Reddit, the more interesting method, you will probably want to combine this method with that method. So just know that you can upload various files and then send that to the keyword clustering to the keyword clustering module by clicking summary and then kicking it off. Once that's finished running, you can view the report within the Keyword Insights dashboard, or you can export and view it as a Google Drive spreadsheet as well, just depending on what you prefer to work with. Working within the dashboard, I'll come back to the spreadsheet in a second. I told you that if you uploaded if you added a domain to track against, we will check that domain for all the keywords you've added. And so why that's really good is you can see here for Nivea, you can see that they sometimes rank for clusters, and I might not want to bother, well, I won't want to bother writing any content that I've already got content for. So I could just say, just show me all of the clusters, we rank in position 80 to 100 for. Basically, just show me all the groups of keywords where we're not really ranking for at all. And now you can start to see, you can see just how many keywords are in these. So look, the volumes of these are all quite low, 50, 40, 30, 20, but the combined volume, all of that is 28,000. This perhaps wasn't such a good example because the head keyword here has 24,000. But if we scroll down and perhaps view some other examples, you can basically see it is the same keyword, the same question being asked time and time again in loads of different ways all across Reddit. Like, here's another one. Look how many keywords are in this cluster. And so you'll find easily loads of good content ideas just by doing that, just by going into Ahrefs, downloading the keywords that a subreddit ranks for. And remember, I looked at only the ones where subreddits rank in positions 1 to 10, i.e. Reddit is ranking above all guides or majority of guides, and finding content ideas that way. So method 1, really easy, really quick. The problem is, obviously, because I've used the keyword research tool, like Ahrefs or SEMrush, your competitors, although they might not be writing about this, because as I've said, they'll think maybe it's too low volume, they haven't grouped them together. So although they might not be writing about this, they technically do still have access to this data, because these keywords are in this database, right? So method 2, which I'll go through now, is a way to, I would enhance the keywords you upload into Keyword Insights. It's a way to add more keywords that your competitors probably won't have because they're not in a keyword research tool. So we'll go through that now. So for method 2 for our Reddit keyword research, we are going to actually scrape questions from Reddit. So rather than relying on a keyword research tool, which has a database that all our competitors also have access to, we're going to pull questions direct from Reddit and hopefully have a list of questions and ideas that maybe our competitors can't ever get hold of because they're not in those keyword research tools. Again, clustering is going to be super important here because, again, we see the same question being asked time and time and time again. So the goal here is to scrape as many questions as possible from the Reddits that we want, then group them together and then analyze and write content based on question frequency. So not just looking at search volume, but how often is this question coming up time and time again? And if these questions have loads of search volume and loads of likes and loads of engagement, I would argue that they don't not have search volume. It's just that keyword research tools don't have them because of all the weird and wonderful ways that people type them in. So we'll jump into that now. We will be looking at and relying on Google Colabs. It is a way to execute Python within your browser if you're not familiar with it, but it's super easy, and we'll give you the template, and all you have to do is click buttons and you're sorted. So let's jump into that now. To get questions using method 2, we still need to know the subreddits again. So as a reminder, you could just, if we're using a hypothetical skincare brand, we could just type in a keyword here and start to look at all the main subreddits we want. So we've got skincare addiction, we've got skin here, we've got loads of other subreddits, or you could again just view this list that I will share again, and you can look at all the different subreddits this way. So we've got body, but so maybe all of these ones, but this, just scan through this list, there's loads. Now in this case, what we're going to do is we are going to use a Colab script, which is this, to scrape all the questions for us. And what it takes is a CSV, which can be seen here. It takes a CSV called subreddits, and it will scrape through all of that and pull all the questions and output a new CSV called combined Reddit questions. So here is one I made earlier somewhere. So subreddits. So in the CSV, you just need to literally put all the subreddits into here. So Let's get another one. So I've got skin. I'll get skincare addiction, and all it takes is just the just like that. And you want to make a list of all the subreddits you want down here. So put in any other subreddits you want here. There's no heading. You don't need to paste the full URL. In fact, don't paste the full URL. It's just literally the subreddit. And then we'll upload this into our Google Colabs notebook. So in here, you want to head to the file here, and you'll want to upload here, and you'll want to, it's on my desktop. So I'll upload that there, and just say okay. And then you want to get you want to set up a Reddit API. It's really easy to do. Basically, just type in Reddit API and set one up that way, and you'll have your client ID, your client secret, and your user agent is just going to be whatever your Reddit username is. Of course, you're going to have to put your own Reddit API details in here. These are my current ones, which I will delete after I've made this video, so they will not work for you. And then it's really simple. Once you've made a copy of this Google Colab book, just hit play, and when each one is finished, you will, as each one finishes, it will start to, you can see these little ticks when it's done, and it's going to go away in a second, and you'll start to see this, which is it working. It's now scraping Google for all those questions. So I'll pause the video here and jump back in when it's finished, where there should be a little file up here with the combined questions up. Cool, so that's finished running now, and it scraped, a lot of questions, and it's created this file here called combined Reddit questions, which if we download, we can get a view on what that looks like here. Great, so we've got all the questions. Sometimes you'll see these weird figures here, and that's with my Excel. It's opening up. It's opening up in a way that the encoding isn't working. So to get around this issue, you can just, so what's this, a third row? You can just open up a fresh Excel document with like this, and then you can put in data and get data, and then you'll want text or CSV, you'll want to browse, you'll want this, you'll want to go next, and you'll want to ensure this is selected and load it. And you should see that has fixed. Yeah, it's got rid of all of those weirdly formatted ones. That's important, because if you were to upload the wrong encoding to Keyword Insights, the file wouldn't work and it would break. And so you might need to go this way to get the correct file. You can just upload this now direct into Keyword Insights. I'll show you what that looks like now. So I've uploaded the file into Keyword Insights, and you can see as Reddit, it's got all, it does weird it, because people phrase their questions in these certain ways in Reddit with these brackets, and they word it weirdly. You can see all of these long ways people have worded it now. You'll also notice, by the way, that the volume is 10 for all of these queries. That is because Keyword Insights needs a volume column to actually work. So in my file, I just added a volume file. So I just added a volume here and gave them all 10. You can do what you want. You could run these through a keyword research tool and maybe get volume. I bet they don't have any though, because of the weird ways people word it. But even this, so just looking at this gives me a load of content ideas as well. So obviously you get ones like this which aren't useful, but stuff like this is really, really useful. Like what is this rash? So we could have an article with loads of different types of rash and going into that. I've chosen skincare, which is probably one of the hardest ones, because there is a lot of medical sites. But this tends to work really well. You might want these questions cleaned up a bit. Like, you might not want it with all these brackets. You might not want it with all these weird colloquialisms. And that's where the second part of this script comes in. So we'll now use OpenAI to clean up the questions and give you a new file where the questions don't have all of those, these weird brackets in, and making the questions more concise, I guess. So the next step is just it's optional. You don't have to do it, but we'll run through all of these again, and then once you click plus on all of these, you will have to add your OpenAI key here. Again, I'm going to delete this key after this video, so it will not work, but you sign up to an OpenAI key and add that there. And by the time you've run all of this, you will get an output name called cleaned Reddit questions. Again, it will be here, and it will basically be a cleaned up version of your list. Okay, that has now finished running, and you can see the two files side by side. So this is the original Reddit questions, and this is where it's all been, cleaned up. It's got rid of the brackets. It's just made the questions more concise where they need to be, and it's potentially just an easier list to upload into Keyword Insights. Again, you will need to give it a volume column. So just give them all an arbitrary number of 10 and drop them all down. I did show earlier on in this video, but you may want to combine the results from method 1 with the results from method 2. That's super easy to do. Just go through the keyword clustering project as you normally would, and you can add multiple files. So I can add my file from my cleaned up Reddit one. So this is my cleaned list that OpenAI did. I do have a problem with row 6, so I'll fix that later. It's probably because of that encoding issue I showed you earlier. But then I can also combine it with my straight up exports that I got from hrefs that were described in method 1. And when I cluster all of these keywords, I'm going to have a massive, lovely clustered list of Reddit-based questions that our competitors probably aren't talking about that I can start writing content on. I'll quickly show you what you can do from there. So once you've combined them and you are in the UI here, you can very easily scan down. Again, I showed you this before, but you can look for only the content ideas that we don't have any content for by using the rank filter. And I can scan down, and if I like any of these content ideas, I can send them direct to our AI writing assistant to really quickly spin up the content. So benefits of oil skin, I think that's a great idea. So I'll click this little plus and you'll see it queue up here. The method body wash, I like that one. So I've queued up 2 of these now. And when I click this, I can send this direct to my AI content writer. And I'll quickly jump in and show you what that looks like. They've just gone to that project section now. And now within our content writing assistant, I can really quickly generate an outline, which I've just done. As you can see here, this is the outline that our AI used. And what it did is scanned all the top results on Google and scanned all the topics that they talk about and generated this outline for me. And now I can use the AI writer to very quickly spin up this piece of content. So I've got the outline here, and now I can, use AI to quickly write the content and then use our optimize tab to make sure that the content is optimized. Now, I won't go into too much detail about the AI writer here. It's just a really quick way of turning those Reddit-based questions into content very easily. Let us know if you've got any questions. Hopefully this helps with your content strategy, and yeah, please reshare if you like.